Color! It's everywhere, except in some people's apartments or living spaces in which they leave their walls blank, like in that one SpongeBob episode where Squidward was sent to the void. That's a real episode. But color, it truly is everywhere, and it's especially in our video games. Some games are distinguished by their specific color palettes, although for some characters it may seem like they threw darts at a color wheel and decided that's the direction they wanted to go. It actually goes deeper than that. Many could go into color theory, the study of harmonization of colors and how they play off of each other visually. But in this video, we'll be tackling more into color psychology, the association and meanings that different colors hold. Obviously, this is a very subjective area of study. Honestly, what do I know? I gave up on art in middle school. But color psychology is very important for character design, because it can tell a lot about a character without the character having to open their mouth. In a very condensed industry where video games are being pumped out like crazy, making your game and characters stand out is important, and the devil is in the details. And in this case, the details are the colors you chose. This video will tackle a very broad, I can't emphasize this enough, broad understanding of what each color symbolizes in video games. We'll be tackling red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, black, and white today. I could have done more, but it's summer and I'm exhausted. Just a little note though, although I don't think it's too much of a problem, just in case my color psychoanalyzing / the content that I used in this video bleeds into spoiler territory for some of these characters, here is a rolling list of all of the video games that these characters come from. That is the farthest my warnings go. You have been warned. We will also be transitioning to voiceover because God forbid I can't do this all day, so woo! Let's start with arguably the most common color and the most striking color, red. Red is a color that is often linked to power, love, and anger. You'll often see it with more louder or boisterous characters to convey their bright and loud personalities, or just their loud voices. Red is also one of the main colors that you'll find a protagonist often donning. Just like a big red marker that just says, "Hey, I'm the main character, look at me!" Oh god, that's such a terrible joke in this script. Red isn't just a main character color though, because you'll just generally see it a lot with characters that have superhero motifs or just very much leader types. Along similar lines, it may show the amount of power a character may have. Villains like Bowser or Ganondorf will utilize the color red to signify their powerful statuses as villains, or literally be symbols of the devil in their respective series, considering red is also heavily associated with hell itself. Red is also known to be a warning color. You know, think of it like a walking red flag, something or someone a player should definitely not associate with nor interact with for their own enjoyment. Kind of on the same note though, depending on who you are, red is also a conventionally attractive color. There have been plenty of studies conducted on how red is just a more attractive color to humans than other colors like blue or green. So games with romance mechanics, or more specifically otome games, you'll see the color red used for characters to accentuate their attractive traits and really establish a character's brand as conventionally seductive or hot, especially for male characters. Speaking of hot, red is also associated with fire most of the time. If the character shoots fire out of their hands as their main ability, there is a chance there's probably red somewhere on their design. This also works in a reversed way. If the character is wearing red, then their odds are that they might be associated with fire to some capacity. Red is a very powerful color to use. Even with just accents or details, using red can say a lot about a character's personality from the get-go and be easily identifiable to players. It can also make you realize if you got a type or not in video game characters. So I'm gonna be really honest here, finding characters for Orange was way harder than I thought. It just seems like Googling Orange video game characters will just show you a bunch of pictures of Garfield and Goku, which, to be fair, they have their own popular games. I loved Garfield Kart as much as the next person, but that's not what we're looking for. So, yeah. But anyways, orange is a weird middle child of red and yellow. It's used to convey happiness and energy, often given to energetic characters or characters that are considered more unserious in personality. Similar to red, characters often in orange are depicted to be the hero archetypes. They often have a strong sense of justice or are very goal-orientated in what they do. Additionally, orange is a color heavily associated with fall and Halloween, basically to an exaggerated level. For any spooky themed characters or characters that are inspired by Western Halloween designs, they'll use orange a lot. On the interesting opposite end though, orange has a heavy association with religion and royalty. Orange is often seen with Southeast Asian religion due to Buddhism and saffron robes. Characters that utilize those inspirations may be seen with some orange in their designs. Again, orange is not a very much used color. In fact, most of the characters you'll probably see in the montage playing right now probably have no correlation to what I'm saying right now, and that's just simply over the fact that there is not enough orange characters online that are not Goku and Garfield. Again, they don't count for this video. Orange is either a subtle accent color or is an entire character's color palette. In an industry where your designs need to be memorable to players and stand out, using orange isn't the most common way to go because it's squished between two very used extremes. But it is not to say orange isn't a beneficial choice to use given its international representation. So game developers have the choice to use it in a very meaningful and deeper meaning. Even so though, let's just hope a lot of the footage I'm showing right now is just not a bunch of Garfield and Goku, because I kid you not, there's only like 5 orange characters on my list right now, and I'm kind of, grasping for straws right now, so please, future me, ha ha ha. Yellow, in the simplest sense, represents happiness, brightness, energy, and attention. Considering how overwhelmingly positive this color may be, it's very hard to find a villain that isn't a Nintendo IP that would utilize yellow in their main color palette. But what's really interesting with yellow, and this argument can literally be made with this entire color wheel, is how its different shades may be interpreted. Think of it this way. A bright neon yellow can immediately be seen as energy or brightness. Characters that have an affinity towards electricity or the sun may be seen rocking borderline highlighter color palettes. Even though we won't get into it a lot, that's kind of the mindset that Pokémon has going for it. Whether a trainer or a Pokémon, if they utilize a bright yellow somewhere in their design, there's like a 75% chance they may have an electric typing. And, well, if you can't tell by their designs, then look at their names! For God's sakes, just look at it! Lieutenant Surge? Watson? Are you kidding me? These are literally just... This is like saying I'm a water type trainer and my name is literally just Agua. So anyways, in contrast to that, a softer yellow may be used for a more serene and pure characters. Kind of your bright sunshine character. Sunshine. God. They can be the more happy-go-lucky than the average person, and it's pretty rare to see them in this sadder setting. And if you do, get some tissues. Finally, in a different, more materialistic way, yellow can be seen as gold, representing wealth or a higher status. It can represent the pinnacle of wealth in an individual, and characters that utilize this specific version of yellow may just have a lot of gold accents on them, versus yellow clothing or hair. Finally, yellow, in my opinion, can be seen as a color paired with ground earthly elements. Yellow can be seen very one-sided with not a lot of depth, but it's really interesting to see what accents and details can say about a character and how different shades of yellow can be played with. Green is a color associated with envy, luck, and safety, or disgust depending on who you ask and what IP and company you're looking at. Similar to yellow, green may be seen as a sign of wealth, to represent cash and the desire for it. There's also a weird phenomenon of green being equated to godhood, or at least characters near god status. They can be seen as ethereal and mystic and be above humanity in some way. But the common way people may see green is through elemental association. Again, with the Pokemon perspective, literally every grass-type Pokemon has some form of green on them. Well, unless if you're Bramble or Toedscool, then in that case, they're either a dead bush or whatever the hell Game Freak had in mind. Why is it running towards me? Why is it skin tone? Why is it flesh tone? Ew! I'm so sorry if you like Toedscool. I'm a believer that everyone can have a favorite Pokemon, and I guess Toedscool is in that category. I just never had it in my team, so But anyways, green is heavily associated with nature in all aspects, whether it be greenery, wind, or animals. And this may be a lead into their more calming or serene traits. Green is a color associated with safety most of the time. So it's like saying you're playing a game with a walking green flag. That's why you'll see green when your health bar is full versus to red. When you're green, it means you're healthy and can take a couple of blows. Speaking of which, on the complete opposite side of nature and whimsy, green is also a color very much associated with technology and the military. Hacker-type characters may be seen with a lot of green on them, or characters that are associated with knowledge and academics may be seen with it too. Characters with American military motifs can be often seen with green or camel print. For the sake of my sanity in this video, let's just pretend I put the entirety of the Call of Duty series on screen right now. Thank you. But anyways, green is definitely a two-sided coin and can be used for very opposite extremes. Whether it be affinities or even their personalities, they can be polar opposites. Because I'm gonna be so honest, why are green characters some of the most scariest characters in video games? Like, what the hell? Next up is blue, and in the same regards to red, it is considered to be a hero color, or a main character color. Most, if not all, characters in my list right now are protagonists in their own games. Blue is a color associated with productivity, calmness, and stability. Western European countries equate blue with truth, authority, reliability, and responsibility, and the United Kingdom uses it a lot for decorum purposes. That's probably why you'll see a lot of characters related to knighthood or retainers to royalty dressed in blue. It's a very chivalrous color. God, this script is really hard to read. Blue is also heavily associated with the elements. Water and ice are the biggest contenders here, and for some characters, their elements correspond to their entire design naturally. It can also be associated with light and heaven. Really depends on the shade though. Research says that because the sky is blue and heaven is associated with being the sky, it's by proxy related to blue, like something along those lines. But on the other hand, blue is not always a happy-go-lucky color. Blue is a color associated with sadness, mourning, and depression. A character with blue may seem more closed off than others, or less livelier, or less engaging. It can be quite the melancholic color when it needs to be, but it can also represent a sort of acceptance in the fact and an almost at peace aspect of the depressing sides of blue. It's an interesting color to play with storytelling of characters considering its diverse meanings. There's a reason why blue is one of the most used colors in media and games today. So, fun fact, this is my favorite color. Just in general, I don't know in this context though. But anyways, purple represents a lot of things. Royalty, wealth, imagination, mystery, wisdom, pride, independence, just to name a few. Purple is actually not a common color at all in the natural real world. It is considered to be an exotic and artificial hue in nature, and the reason why it's so heavily associated with royalty is because of the rarity and its usage for dyes. It may just be from my own library of games that I pulled from that gives off this impression, but purple is a color often associated with mystical otherworldly powers. They may or may not be gods, or they just might have a sick fascination with power. Many characters with purple designs have associations with magic and the occult. Spellcasters and individuals with strong proficiency in magic will often be in purple. It's also a very ghostly color, and it's associated with the undead frequently. Also, as a little sidetrack, there is an odd fixation of purple being an oddly charismatic color for characters. Characters with confidence or sensuality or both are often seen in purple. It's not as popular of a color to use as red in the same regards, but it's a very interesting pattern to see, especially in Asian media. Purple is an interesting color to play with here. It offers the developers an outlet to make a character mysterious without making them bland. It can definitely blur the lines of whether or not to consider an individual you meet for the first time an enemy or not. That's up for you, the player, to discover. Look at me, I'm the pretty mage. Woo, I'm so pretty, but I also like talking to dead people. Woo! I swear we're almost done. Pink! Color, pink, pink, pink! Pink is a color associated with kindness, nurturing, romance, and calmness. To address the elephant in the room, by the way, pink is regarded to be a hyper-feminine color in all walks of media. I like to think it's because of earlier individuals like Princess Peach that really thrusted this idea of hyper-femininity and almost a pure personality trait onto characters that use pink. It's not to say that pink is a flat color. Like, literally, not at all. In fact, it's interesting to see how pink can be used in an almost red herring way in regards to a character design. For example, we have this cute pink puffball that loves to eat, roll around in a field of flowers, make cute noises, and have the cutest little friends in the world, and oh my god, look at it, it's so cute! And then you remember this thing is capable of traveling at the speed of light, vanquishing dark lords, outsmarting video games' most notorious villains, and also wreaking havoc literally everywhere he goes, literally just because his food was stolen. That is literally how we end up here. What the hell? Besides the fever dream of Kirby lore, pink has definitely come a long way from being just a girly color. Yes, you'll see it more with female presenting characters than males, but it doesn't equate to a frail personality trait. Pink characters can be hella strong and are often some of the core foundations to the respective titles. Okay, I swear this is the last section. My voice is giving out, I'm tripping more on this script. In my recording booth, which is literally just a fleece blanket over my laptop and my microphone because I don't have a closet to go into to record this. Oh, we're almost over. So we're going to combine black and white here because they're technically just different shades of one another, and also this is my video. Shut the hell up! As contrasting as they are, they both hold very significant meanings to their palettes and aren't just simple base colors to characters. White is associated with serenity, purity, emptiness, peacefulness, and innocence. It is regarded to be one of the most prominent colors to religion and spirituality with its ties to heaven and divinity. On the other hand, though, white can be seen as plain or isolating. Think of it like a plain base, or a customizable avatar. There's not really much going on, it's up for the players to give them color, or to give them a little bit of customization. Unless you really like their designs, and in that case, I don't blame you. Then there's black, which represents mystery, unhappiness, boldness, and power. It's a very elegant color, all things considered. You'll see characters that are much more serious or have a strict mindset using black in their base palette and accenting with other colors. It's also very much regarded as a depressing color, with many ties to death and bad omens. Many of the quote-unquote edgy characters we know have darker or black dominant color palettes in their designs to signify their indifference to the world. They may not be necessarily mean or broody as first glances may tell you, but they definitely see the world differently. AKA, look at their lore and read their conversations! Putting black and white together actually is fascinating, because many characters with black and white palettes are often seen as unhuman, not really godly per se, but detached from human tendencies. This can range from physical attributes or social skills they may lack. This is very common in cyborg or robotic-like characters, characters that had a significant part of their humanity stripped away from them one way or another. Black and white are very interesting colors, and I feel like we don't give them enough attention, because they can definitely be as bold as the other colors in this list, if not more. And that's it for color theory in video games, or color psychology more specifically. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed my very lengthy voiceovers, because God, doing that under a fleece blanket in the middle of the night, is not fun, and I really wish I had the budget for these types of videos. Color is a very interesting medium to use in video games, in my opinion. Again, that's how some of the most recognizable characters in video games are kind of picked out. So using the right colors for your characters is very, very important. Again, my explanations are extremely broad in this sense. I gave up art in middle school and decided to become a journalism major instead, and that's clearly going very well because I'm talking about video games. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. And hopefully this won't be the last the last video I do on this kind of content, because honestly this is really interesting, and let's hope that I actually have the budget to make these videos look cool, because I went through 2 microphones to get this video done, and I just decided to use my iPhone for this intro and outro, if you couldn't tell by the quality. Anyways, bye bye. I don't know if my microphone can pick that up. That's not crying babies. Those are we have a cat fight club outside my house, and every night I just hear a bunch of cats just duking it out with each other. I'm not going to film that for obvious reasons, so